All right, so again, we're going to look at the options bar, which pops up right here depending on what command you're in. So if I click on the wall, you'll see that this kind of converts to our options bar, which allows us to change where we want to draw from. It allows us to change what it's connected to, or if it's connected at all, by hitting the unconnected. Additionally, kind of the objective for today is to figure out how to generate new wall styles, and we're going to talk about that using the property palette. So you guys should really, at this point, your drawings or models should look like really just be at this stage, right? You just have our vertical levels. To kind of go back over that super fast, you had one at 0, one at 9'6", one at 19'6", and one at 29'6", and we named them lower level, entry level, upper level, and roof. And that little icon that little pop-up dialog box that popped up asks you if you wanted to rename it. Every time you should hit yes. That will rename these to correspond with what these are. So essentially that's where we're at. I'm looking at it in 3D. There's nothing there. I will tell you flat out, we typically don't draw or model in 3D. We pick a view to draw within. It's just easier to work from a view. In this case, we actually want to start with the lower level. And the reason why is we want to build from the ground up, and the lower level is the lowest level that we have. So we're going to start on the lower level. And what I'm going to do right now, again, you guys don't have to do, I don't want you to do this part of it. I'm just going to step through how to change the wall locations, how to connect them again. That'll allow you to, I'll show you the process for drawing them. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, as a group, go in and actually modify and make our own wall types. All right. So first thing I did was I went to the architecture tab. I clicked on the wall, and then I have a few options on the option tab. One, it asks me in this section here, what do we want to connect it to? In this instance, we want to connect it to the roof. So that basically means that we're going to draw a wall that's 29 feet, 6 inches tall. Second thing I'm going to change is under location line. By default, wall center lines are typically selected. We're actually going to shift that to wall finish face exterior. And then what that's going to allow me to do is draw my walls. Does anybody remember the tip that I told you for drawing your walls? Which direction do we have to draw them? Clockwise. So we want to stay drawing these clockwise. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, drag this over. You guys can do this by looking at the dimensions. 30 feet, drag it down 30 feet. Or you can drag it over and just simply type in 30, enter, drag it up, 30, enter. So it's whatever you feel more comfortable with. Once you're done, simple escape key allows you to break that command. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure this just to make sure that I got this where I want it to be. So I got 30 feet, and I'm going to measure the other distance, the other axes. You can see I got 30 feet and 30 feet. So that's going to be accurate. It's inaccurately accurate right now, right? Because I don't even have the right wall styles drawn yet. Once you have the right wall styles, that is how you are going to select it, or that is how you're going to draw it. You're going to draw it clockwise. You're going to set all those settings the way that I just did. But more importantly, let's talk about walls. So AutoCAD, quite simply, since I have AutoCAD up, I'll just share this with you. If I want to draw a wall in AutoCAD, what I do is I typically, let me just draw a 30 foot by 30 foot box. I use the rectangle command. I say at 30 feet, comma, 30 feet, enter. And I go, well, how thick are those walls? Well, those walls are going to be 6 inches thick. So I use my offset command. I take the outside, I come in, and then I use a command called explode to separate these. So now this is a wall, this is a wall, this is a wall, and this is a wall. That's AutoCAD. What did I actually draw? Did I actually draw a wall? No, I didn't actually draw a wall. What did I actually draw? Remember, digital drafting board. That's all AutoCAD is. Simply drew 2 lines that represent a wall. These are nothing more than me taking a pencil and drawing a line on a piece of paper. That's all it is. There's no intelligence to it other than it's dimensionally accurate, right? It's dimensionally accurate. It's the only thing that makes this intelligent at all. There's no properties associated to it other than it's white. Line's white. Let me change a property. I can highlight this line. I'm going to come in here to my home tab, and I'm just going to simply change the color to yellow. Perfect. Now the properties are changed, but the only property that changed is just simply color. So how does that differ from what I got going on here? So if I highlight this object, I didn't highlight a line. What I selected was a wall. If I look over here on the left-hand side, and I know it might be a little small for you guys to read this at home, but there's a few things that it says here. Location line, finish face, exterior. Well, that's what I set when I drew it, so that makes sense. What is my base constraint? Well, the base constraint is the lower level. Well, I drew it starting at the lower level. So again, that makes sense. I have a base offset. No, it's 0. That's great. That's a property. That's something else that I could set. It says top constraint, up to level roof. Well, that also makes sense because when I drew it in the options bar, I told it to draw it up to the roof level. Is there a top offset? Right now, no, there's not. 0. Is this wall used as a room bounding box? It's checked, so the answer to that's yes. There's more and more properties as I go through this. I'm not going to read them all to you because they're all not going to make sense to you. But I'm also going to do something else here. I can look at this and it tells me what type of wall it is. It's a basic wall, generic 8-inch. So you see that over in the properties palette. I know, again, I know it's a little hard for you guys to see here as well. It does say basic wall, generic 8. If I happen to click on this, there's a whole list of walls I could come in here and select from. I've got stuff from stacked walls, exterior brick over CMU with metal studs. I've got soffit, 1/2-inch DWB and metal studs. I've got 3 1/8-inch partition, 1 hour. I've got 12-inch masonry. I've got 8-inch filled. I've got 5-inch generic, 6-inch generic, exterior EFIS on metal studs, etc., 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 right? And all of these wall types are pre-made. These are the ones that come with Revit, right? They're just part of the architectural template. These ones great? Not really. They're okay. They're very generic. They're again what Revit has said. Hey, here's some walls to play around with. Have them, use them, whatever. What we typically do is we build our wall types. We will go into a template. We'll actually go in. We'll delete all of the pre-existing templates or all of the pre-existing wall types, and you will you'll basically rebuild all of your wall types. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually build 2 wall types. We're going to build one called MicroLiving Exterior. We're going to build one called MicroLiving Interior. Does anybody remember the sizes of the walls when we went through the presentation a while back? I know it's been a while. It said 6 inches for exterior, 4 inches for interior. Okay, so those are our wall types that we're going to build. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to click on this little button here that says Edit Type. And so let me start out by saying, if I want to start, say I can say this one here that says exterior brick on CMU, right? Let's just say that this is a similar wall type to the one that we're going to create. I would select this and then I would say Edit. But since it's not really what I'm looking for, I'm going to put this back to generic 8. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Edit Type. So let's see, morning. So let's talk about where I want to get you guys going with this. We're going to simply draw a wall. You just draw any wall anywhere on the screen. And guys, bear with me for 1 second here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Ebb sent me down. I work at school system, so I'm PTW. But Lorien, the company Lorien, was looking to see if the students could do a scale model of their building, and they said they would even pay.
Okay.
So he told me I should ask you about it.
Yeah.
Can I give the gentleman from Lorien the number here?
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you?
Give them that number, and I can talk to them a little bit about the scope of it and figure out if it's something my kids can do, and we'll
Okay.
kind of step back and look at it that way.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect.
All right.
Well,
Have a
thank
good
you.
day.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. So, what we're gonna do simply, I don't care where you draw a wall. I don't care what you change. You don't have to change anything. All I want you guys to do is simply just have generic 8 selected and draw a wall anywhere on the screen. It doesn't matter the size, doesn't matter the length. We're just drawing a wall. And we're only doing that quite simply just to get this to pop up on our screen where it says basic wall. Grace, what you'll do to delete the wall, you can just the modify button. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and delete my walls as well so that we're all on the same page. And then I'm just going to select everything I don't need and then hit the delete key on my keyboard. Okay. Great. So you guys should be at the same page I'm at. I just literally grabbed the wall command. I drew a random length wall. Mine happened to be 22 feet 6 inches or something. It doesn't matter. More importantly, what happened is we can now see this over here that says basic wall generic 8-inch. So what we're going to do is, do me a favor, high five. I call it high five. Hit your raise hand and drop it if you, or hit your raise hand if you guys all got a wall drawn here for me. All right, looks like majority. I think we're okay. All right, so what we got here is we have this little button that says edit type. So we're going to go ahead and click on edit type, and then you get this really, really intimidating box that pops up. I don't want you to be scared, but I also don't want you to mess anything up. So step by step, there's a button here that says duplicate. You absolutely 100% must hit the duplicate button. If you do not hit the duplicate button, you have destroyed generic 8-inch wall. It'll never be the same. So we don't want to destroy it. We want to preserve that. So we're actually going to hit the button that says duplicate. We're going to name our wall. And what we are going to name it is we're going to name it MicroLiving space hyphen space exterior wall. MicroLiving space hyphen space dash space exterior wall. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the OK button. You will know you did it right if in the type it says MicroLiving dash exterior wall. If it does not say that, you didn't hit the duplicate button or you just didn't do something right there. So that should be where you guys are at right this second. Now, we haven't changed anything. We haven't changed the size of it. We haven't changed the material of it. We haven't changed. There's nothing that we've changed. We've simply just taken the 8-inch wall and we've duplicated it. So we're going to actually go in and modify this thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit this little button that says structure, and there's a little edit button next to structure. And then we get this more intimidating box that pops up. And we're going to keep getting more intimidating boxes as we go. So don't sweat them. You can't really mess it up, to be quite honest with you. If you guys mess it up, really just hit undo and try it again. There's no way that you can really destroy anything. If you really, really, really mess it up, close your drawing, say new, start from the template all over, and kind of step back through the process. There's no way that you can, I don't want to say there's no way you can break Revit, but there's virtually no way you can break Revit. There is actually one way that you can break Revit, which I will not tell you how to do it because I don't want you to accidentally do it. But there is a way to break Revit, but you guys should never even get close to that. So we are looking at this, and I want a couple things on here to make a little bit of sense. Yes, Kev. So let me go back real quick. So we basically just, sorry guys, I'm going to step back real fast just to make sure that we get everybody on board. I'm going to hit the wall button. I'm simply just going to draw a wall, have no care as to the length. I'm basically doing it so that this says generic 8-inch. I'm going to hit the edit type button. That's going to give me this type property dialog box. And I'm going to make sure that I hit this duplicate button. Again, in this, I'm going to type in MicroLiving space dash space. I'm going to put exterior wall. And I'm going to hit OK. And just as a self check, I want to make sure that this here says type MicroLiving exterior wall. And then we have this little button here that says edit. So everybody should be at this stage at this point. And I'm just going to show you guys just a few things. We're going to keep yours really, really simple. But I want to show you that this can be more complex, okay? So I'm going to basically show you guys in AutoCAD that walls can be fairly complex. So if I look, let's just show you a cross section. Bear with me for a second here. Let me yours doesn't have an edit button? Okay, give me a second. I'll hop over and take a look at it. Oh boy. 1762? Yeah, 1762, Williamsburg. Thomas Goodwin. I guess I just wanted to find an old drawing. See if I crashed it or not. Well, that's pulling up in the background. I just want to see if I can pull up another one. All right, this one should work. Oh, I hate Pinterest. With a passion, I hate Pinterest. You can never, I can't blow this picture up. This is a great picture. I want to show you this picture. If I click on it, it's going to take me to some website that's trying to sell me salads in a mason jar. I hate Pinterest. I can't do Pinterest. I can't do it. All I'm trying to do is show you this picture. So it doesn't work. It doesn't matter. I quit with Pinterest. Absolutely quit with Pinterest. All right. So let me just see if I can find you a cross section. Sorry, guys. You guys can tell how much I love Pinterest, right? Pinterest is great for looking at images. But like, I have an image on my screen. How do I save it where? Top save. I can't show my students my phone. Pinterest is no good. It drives me crazy. Sorry guys. It's not no hate on Pinterest. But all right, let me see if I can find you a no, it's great. It's a great website for many things. It's no good for like just displaying images. It's not like all right. So all right, I'm trying too hard to get you guys to see something that's probably over your heads in a sense. But if we zoom in on a wall, we can start to see that there's a lot of layers. Like these walls are just siding. There's no brick. But if you were to think about like all the layers of a wall, right? So if I were to take let's just say a brick wall, I start from the exterior of the project and work my way all the way to paint layer. Okay, so I'm just going to list it out in a very traditional, like if you have brick veneer on the front of your house, this is probably how your house is built. You have 4 inches of brick. Then you have an inch of airspace. Believe it or not, your brick actually doesn't touch the structure of your house because brick is porous and you want water to actually go behind your brick and go down the inside face of your brick. and roll out at the bottom of your brick. If you guys have brick on your houses, you may notice at the very bottom that there might be like, it kind of looks like string sticking out between some of the bricks, or you might see a little gap in the mortar. If you're ever in the drive-thru at McDonald's and you happen to look over and look down bottom, you'll see like gaps where it's like, why did they skip the mortar? The reason why they skip the mortar is because that's where the water actually drains out when water penetrates through the brick. So you have brick, you have 1 inch of airspace, and we start having other things, right? So in a residential project, we'll have that white paper, that Tyvek air barrier. Past that, we'll have what we call OSB sheathing or some sort of plywood sheathing. That's the hard, rigid material that we apply. Beyond that, we have our studs, which is just our wood framing that you would see that typically looks like a bunch of sticks that are spaced 16 inches on center. Beyond that, we will have drywall. Beyond that, we will have our paint layer. So if you think about the anatomy, it's like a cake, right? It's all these different layers that we're generating. Well, inside of Revit, if I can get back to my inside of Revit, we are allowed to add various layers. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do one that's a little more complex just to show you. So I don't want you guys to do this one, but I'm going to add a couple different layers here. We're going to do a very simple one, but I'm showing you what we can do with Revit. So we have this thing called core boundary. We have if you look up here, it says exterior. And if you look down here, it says interior side. Core boundary, I want you guys to think of as structure. What is actually built first? That needs to remain between your two cores. Anything that gets applied later goes outside of your core system, okay? So in a residential situation, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move this above. I'm going to take my core boundary so I can highlight my core, and I'm actually going to move the core boundary pretty far down. So I have structure. And then it says, well, what material do you want the structure to be? So I click on this little dot, and I get this pop-up dialog that pops up. And I'm going to type in wood and see what comes up. Oh, cool, I got wood. I don't really care what color it is. It doesn't really matter. I'm just kind of using it as representation of what we're doing. Actually, I'm going to use this one that says softwood lumber. So that's the material. Well, this would be my stud wall. So how big is my stud wall? 5.5 inches is how big my stud wall is. And I want to make sure that I'm clear on this. 5.5, you have to use the inches mark because Revit defaults to feet. If I typed in 5.5 and just clicked, it would actually see it as 5 foot 6 inches. So if I do 5 foot and then do the inch mark, you can see that it goes to 5.5 inches. So let me just show you what happens if you don't do the inch. And you click up, it says 5 foot 6, and you're going to go, why is my wall 6 foot deep when it's only supposed to be 6 inches deep? That's why. So 5.5 inches. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start applying some other layers. Well, that's the structure. Well, what discipline or function does the next one go into? Well, my next one's my substrate, and I want this to be, let's see if they have OSB. They do not. So let's see if they have plywood. They do. It's called sheathing. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. And my OSB sheathing is 7/16 of an inch. And then I have another layer. And then I need to tell it what discipline this is. Well, this happens to be a thermal layer. And this is that Tyvek house wrap, that really thin white paper that's applied. Even though it has a thickness, we actually say that it's 0. It's just one of those things where it's so minute we don't even calculate it. And then I say, what material is this going to be? And let's see if wrap exists. So I can just type in wrap, no, air barrier, air infiltration barrier. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply to that. It's a 0-inch thickness. And then I might apply, we got air. So air is going to be an inch thick. There is going to be a material applied to this. And believe it or not, I'm actually going to type in air and see if air exists. And air is a material in Revit. So it literally will apply no material, but it's a material called air. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And I made a mistake. I typed in 1 and hit enter. it would give me a 1 foot air gap, which would not be good. So I did a 1 inch air gap. And finally, I'm going to put a finish. And so there's finish 1s and finish 2s. So brick typically falls under a finish 2 phase. We're not going to worry about phases and stuff like that. But I'm going to type in brick and see if I have brick. I'm going to actually spell brick correctly and see if I have brick. If I have one called brick common, I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. How thick is my brick? It's 4 inches thick. And you can see here I have, if I start from the outside, I've got brick, air infiltration layer, plywood, and then I've got my lumber, and then on the inside part of the structure, that's where I would have my drywall or gypsum board. I'm actually going to insert one more layer here. I'm going to move this one all the way at the very, very bottom inside of my core, and this is also going to be a finish 2. We're going to set this for material. We're going to come in here. Drywall is actually not drywall. It's actually called gypsum board. So I'm just going to type in GY, grab gypsum wall board, and I'm going to apply a thickness of a 1/2 inch. So it took me a lot of work to set that up, right? But what I want to show you what I created, if I hit this little preview button. Okay. Oh, what a fail. What a fail. I hate Revit sometimes. So instead of allowing me to go back and change it, it actually deleted all of my stuff. So it's okay. What I'm going to do, just to demo what I was essentially building for you guys, I'm going to grab one of these pre-made to save time. Let me grab one of these brick on CMU and hit edit type and just show you essentially what we were doing. We were basically compiling a very kind of intense structure, right? If I hit preview, you'll see basically this is what I've generated. Okay, so this outside layer was this brick. I'm actually going to take this brick layer so that you guys can see how powerful Revit is, and I'm actually just going to move that down. You'll see that I'm actually just shifting the location of the brick, right? Which makes no sense because the brick is going to go to the outside, but just showing you that you can do that. So I'm going to push that all the way to the outside, and I'm going to hit apply. Now, I want to real quickly jump back into AutoCAD because I want to show you guys something. So I simply showed you I drew this here, right? I drew a little wall here. And so now I want to just show you kind of the next steps. If I had a project that had, I don't know, an inch gap, or no, let's say I had 7/16 inch OSB. So I got to offset that. And then I got to offset 1 inch for an air gap. So I got to zoom in, I got to do this. And then I got to offset 3-5/8 inch for brick veneer. Okay, cool. So I built my wall. I got to do it again over here. So now I got to do offset, and I got to do, then I got to do this, and then I got to do 1 inch, and then I got to do 3-5/8, right? And then I got to do this. Then I got to go, okay, now I need to do fillet. Now I got to grab this, and now I got to grab this, and this. Are you guys bored watching me yet? I'm bored doing this. Okay. You guys see how tedious this would get? I'll do an entire building. Now do the entire Columbia Mall. I've done one corner, and you guys are bored. The entire Columbia Mall. Okay? So I show you that because I want to show you that, yes, it took me 3 minutes to build my wall, right? But that was with me describing it as I went through every step. Now, granted, I messed it up and it went away, but had I not messed it up, it would have been there and we would have been good to go. So it takes me another 3 minutes. What I'm going to show you right now is I'm going to use my wall tool, and I'm going to just draw a wall that comes across here and make it 30 feet and drag it down, make it 30 feet, drag it over. I'm actually going to type in 30 feet. And then drag it up, type it in 30 feet. Okay, good, good. It looks beautiful. You guys said to me it looks beautiful, right? You guys all think that looks beautiful. It looks like 2 walls. And I'm looking at this going, I swear when I was looking at it in here, this definitely looks more detailed than this. Revit's this smart. Revit knows that showing a lot of graphics on screen can be hard on the eyes. There's actually a little setting down here that says, what do you want to see? Well, right now it's set to coarse. Let me just set it to medium to show you what happens. That's actually what Revit drew, okay? That's all of the detail. Now, I want you to look at this corner, and then I want you guys to go back and think about the pain that I was going through doing this. And then the non-pain that I felt doing this, okay? We see where there's a huge amount of strength in Revit in just this element. Be quite honest with you guys, again, if I did commercial work for most of my business, I would not be using AutoCAD. I would be using Revit because it does show its value there. 99% of what I do, just to kind of give you guys an idea, I show my walls like this. There's really no detail. Okay, so this takes me virtually no time. It takes me longer to do this in Revit than it does to do it in AutoCAD. So again, it comes down to a business thing for me. It has nothing to do with which one's more efficient. It's which one's more efficient for me. As a whole, Revit is a stronger tool for majority of the architecture that's going to be done. AutoCAD works for what I do. I make money using AutoCAD. That's why I use it day in, day out. So when you guys start looking at Revit and you see that I really drew this, and this is the best part of all, if I just simply draw one simple wall, that's what I'm drawing. It's a lot of information shown within inside of one single click. More importantly, some of the stuff that happens that you guys don't even know is I have fire ratings associated to this. So it knows that this partition is a 2-hour partition. It knows how much time it takes to construct this wall. It knows how much paint needs to be applied to the interior of this wall. So if I said, hey, I just built this building, how many gallons of paint will I need? I can simply do a query, pull the data, and go, according to the properties associated to the wall, you need 174 gallons of paint. That is so valuable to be able to go to my paint contractor and go, hey, I need you to bid out this job. The paint contractor goes, oh yeah, it's $14,000 because it's 250 gallons of paint. And I can go, no, it's only 175 gallons of paint. And how do I know that? I know that because I've spec'd what everything is. We didn't get as far as I wanted to, but let's punch through this wall real fast, and I will come back, I promise, Maureen, and get you where you need to be with this. So we were on generic 8. You guys hit edit type. You guys did duplicate. I'm going to abbreviate this ML exterior wall. I'm going to hit OK. And then I hit edit. Yes, Grace, you can hit save. And quite simply, you guys are going to make a modification here. You guys are simply going to click on this where it says thickness. You are going to make it say 6 inches. And you are going to hit OK. And then you are going to hit OK again. And then you guys are all going to hit your save buttons. And if you guys rode the bus, you guys are dismissed. If you guys drove, you guys can chill for a couple minutes. It's up to you. And I'm going to just finish up what was going on here. Okay, Dave, you're good. All right, bye guys. See you all tomorrow. Yeah, please save. And then, Maureen, I'll figure out why you didn't have an edit button. I'm not exact. Okay. We'll figure out what was going on with that. Okay, so there's a lot of, I mean, I kind of repeating this real quick, but there's a lot of strength to what Revit can do. Unfortunately, I'm losing my in-house guys, so I don't want to kind of go too much further in this. So let me go ahead and stop this video recording real quick.